With us now is Dick Wingate. Welcome to the show. How are you?
I'm great. It's wonderful to be here. Thank you for inviting me on.
Well, I saw a picture of you that a friend had shown me, and you look kind of similar. You look similar to
So, similar to the person I'm standing next to, or right the way I
no
look now.
personal. Like how you looked then is very
Right.
similar. You still look like yourself.
Oh well,
Like your hair might be. You might be a little lighter, but you still have
right.
like the facial hair going on, and the cool shoulders, and you
Yeah.
look.
Well, thank you for saying that because that was a long time ago. That picture that you're referring to with Bruce Springsteen was taken in 1978.
Okay. So, how did that moment occur? Like, how did you work in the industry back then? And what were you capturing in that photo?
Well, I had an obsession with music from the time I was really young. I would listen to the radio uh, from the time I was 10 or 11 years old and want to know every song. And I actually, even at that age, I was calling radio stations and winning contests for being the first to identify the songs. So, and by at age 15, I saw the Doors perform, and I saw Jim Morrison arrested on stage after 30 minutes into the performance. And I saw Cream and Jeff Beck Group and the Rolling Stones all in the 60s. So by the time I got to college in the early 70s, I wanted to go on the radio and become a DJ. And I did that. And then I quickly became the music director and then the program director of the Brown University radio station. Now, while there, we had artists who would come to the station, like Bruce Springsteen, Lou Reed. I remember driving him to the gig after we did an interview. Um, and I kind of had a feeling I wanted to go to the record side of the music business after I got out of college. And I was lucky enough to get offered a job with an independent label and work with an artist named Al Stewart, who had a big hit called Year of the Cat. But quickly
Oh, wow.
thereafter,
Yeah.
Columbia Records came calling and hired me as the youngest product manager that they'd ever hired. I was still only 23, and I was given the Bruce Springsteen account, and wrote the marketing plans for Darkness on the Edge of Town, and the first three Elvis Costello albums, and Peter Tosh's first two albums after he left the Wailers, and Pink Floyd, and many others. And the occasion of the photograph that you're talking about is that Bruce wanted to go to the printer to see for quality control purposes, he wanted to see the covers being printed. And so, and no artist had ever actually gone to the printer. Normally they would just approve a cover proof and off it would go for duplication. But he wanted to go to the lithographer. And so this photograph was taken there, um, ironically, by a guy who was working there who used to be in the Velvet Underground, Lou Reed's band. So it's just a coincidence.
It's a great shot. There's something so important, I believe, about music and the history of a music in America because it's the one element that binds so many generations. I was at an event and I was playing some 70s music. And there were a lot of people that were in their 20s and 30s and they were singing it. They were singing the 70s music, they were singing the 80s music. And I was like, you must have really cool parents that they would, introduce you to that type of music. But there's so many things, I say that it's the one fabric in the universal language that does help all of us connect.
And
Music
the
is
kids,
relatable.
yeah, and the kids, my own kids, I would turn them onto music, but they would often discover it themselves. I can remember when I think at that time he was maybe 14. My son, for Father's Day, he burned me a CD of songs, which was the coolest Father's Day present I ever got because it was, and on it was like a song from Bob Dylan's Blood on the Tracks, and I never played him that. I never played him Bob Dylan. And I said, how do you know about that? He goes, oh man, Blood on the Tracks, that's like the best Dylan album. And I went, oh, I raised you the right way.
You are one of the forefathers and innovators, if you will, of digital music and things being able to transition, if you will. Can you talk to us about that? About always being on the cutting edge of innovation?
Yeah, absolutely. So for me, the through line for me, because I spent the first half of my career working with amazing artists, and I went on to become do A&R and sign artists with #1 records, like Electric Avenue by Eddie Grant, and I discovered Amy Mann from with Till Tuesday, Voices Carry I executive produced, and from there I became the head of A&R at PolyGram, and I was the head of marketing at Arista. But the but once I got into technology, the through line was that I always wanted to expose talent. I always wanted to help bring talent to the world, whether I was on the radio or I was writing their marketing plans or signing them and making their records. That was always the goal. With technology, it was the same thing. I wanted to bring new technology to the world that would add value to the music business. And so back in the mid 90s, I got very much obsessed with that. Once I went online and realized that the whole music business actually could migrate to online, it was like, I want to be a part of that. And so I helped found and create a company called Liquid Audio, and we were the pioneer in digital music distribution well before Apple. About 5 years before the iTunes Music Store, we were distributing, and I negotiated licenses with all the major record labels to distribute digital music. And we went public in 1999. So it was very early days. And since then it's been more continue to work with the next platform. Like I got involved with mobile in the after Liquid Audio was sold. I got involved with the very earliest mobile technology, which enabled you to listen to music on your phones. And this was back around 2003, 4, 5. And nobody even had anything but flip phones, the old flip phones
Oh
still
yeah,
at that.
absolutely.
But
Yeah.
I knew it. I just had the instinct that, okay, that's where it's going to be. And so
What's so
that's,
nice too, I think, about technology is that even if you're wrong, you're still right. And what do I mean by that? It means that if you're just willing to try and be an early adapter of something, if it doesn't go anywhere, okay, it doesn't go anywhere. But if it does go somewhere, then at least you're in on it. So
right.
I always listen to people too that have like great ideas or wanting to try new things. So when I started my career too, the transition even in television has been like big 1H tape and then beta tape and then this format and that format and this format. And as you go forward, it's like, all right, well, why not? Let's just try. So now my television show, we used to actually have to send it on a beta tape, to the station. And now finally we're able to upload it digitally. And then who knows what's coming next. But you seem like you're kind of like the same type of person when it comes to audio. It's like, yeah, give it a try.
Well, exactly. And I'm actually working with a company that is creating a next generation audio experience. So when we listen to music on earbuds like I'm on or over the head earphones, we're listening in stereo, which is a format that was invented 60 years ago. It hasn't
Okay.
changed. Okay. There's the next generation of 3D audio allows you to hear music, in a way that's, it personalizes so it can be sound the way you want it to sound and have the right tone, like the old tone controls that we would
Like a
have.
little more
And
bass, a little more treble?
yeah, that's the very basic stuff, but it's also
Okay.
move the sound around your head.
Oh, wow.
This particular company is called Audible Reality, and I've been working with them, and it's a free download for the app. Just search Audible Reality in the App Store or the Google
Okay.
Play Store, and you can flip through audio filters like you flip through filters on Instagram. Think of Instagram, how you take a picture and then you personalize it by flipping through the filters. It
Yes.
works the same way. You flip through filters or vibes as they're called, and
Okay.
the sound changes You can make it wider. You can make it sound like you're in a nightclub. You make it sound like you're in a concert
Wow.
hall. You can make it sound very intimate. Put more high end on it. Put more bass. So, for instance, when I go jogging, I use a vibe that gives me a little more punch. It helps me
Okay.
with
So like
my
there's more
run.
downbeat, you mean? So that there's like,
Yeah,
so with
just a
each
little.
pace, you're like jogging to it.
Yeah, but if I'm sitting quietly in my couch, I might use a different setting, and it just works like Instagram. So that's an example of
Wait, I'm gonna
a
try it.
next
I'm gonna try it
generation.
now. I'm like, I want to download it now. That sounds really amazing. Okay, I
and
like that
and
a
so
lot. So that
well,
sounds
so we
cool.
so that's what I do now. I work with a lot of technology companies, and I have been doing this for 20 years, helping them build their businesses, get artists involved with them, and it sometimes that requires licenses from the record companies, which as I mentioned, I've done licenses all the way back into the mid 90s.
And it's probably good when a company wants to work with you as their, their advisor for you to collaborate with them because you have so much experience in the business. They know that you're a trusted advisor. And I do see some nice plaques of records up on your wall. So
Oh
I'm sure
yeah.
you have a lot of them. But who did you choose to hang on that wall?
Well, that's a
Who's
good
there?
question. Somebody asked me that just the other day. They said,
Okay.
you must have a lot of. I said, yeah, there's like another 30 of them in my storage facility, but the ones that are on my wall in my office are the Till Tuesday uh, executive producer plaque for Voices Carry, Bruce Springsteen, Darkness on the Edge of Town, Elvis Costello's first album, My Name Is True, which I marketed, Pink Floyd's Animals album from '77. And you can't see over here. I have Peter Tosh's first two solo albums, and I have one from Bon Jovi and from Eddie Grant for Electric Avenue, and I can't even remember them all. They're in my storage facility, but you pick the ones that have the most the most meaning to you to put on the wall.
Well, I appreciate that. And I also have another question. A lot of times back in the early days of vinyl, people would want to write something or sing something on the flip side so that they could still get like BMI credits and stuff like that. Does your voice appear on any vinyl anywhere?
My voice?
Yeah.
No, no,
How
no,
about
just
playing an instrument?
nope. I was a terrible guitar player, and while my name is on dozens of album covers, my voice is not.
But your voice is not. And no strumming of any guitars.
No strumming of
Well,
any guitars.
I'm thinking that might happen for you in the next chapter. You never know, right? Never say never.
No, it's weird. I never was a musician. I just had a great ear for it and a feel for it, and I love working with talent. And so, artists were comfortable around me. They felt like I was one of them, even though I wasn't actually a musician. I kind of grew up in the business, and so like when I was at Columbia, they would give me the young hip artists because A, I was the youngest guy, and B, I could easily, understand where they were coming from. So, they, were, you know, when I met Bruce when he came up to the radio station, he was painfully shy. His first
Oh.
record had just come out, really, really shy, and we didn't go on the air. Now, when the artists would come up to the station, the record company would bring them around, and sometimes we'd go on the air if it seemed like the artist wanted to talk. Well, he didn't seem like he really wanted to talk, so we didn't go on the air. Then I saw the performance, and and literally by the time I saw Bruce, I had seen Pink Floyd and Cream and the Rolling Stones and everybody you'd want to see, but I'd never seen anything like Bruce Springsteen
Wow.
with the original E Street Band. It just floored me. I just knew I was watching greatness that night.
I would say talent with a lot of swagger. We all love that about him. He's just so real. And I have to say too, you have that whole rock star personality yourself, Dick. And it's been fun to visit with
That's
you
nice of you.
today. And I hope you'll come back on
Thank you.
again sometime.
Oh, I'd love to. I can tell stories for hours.
Yeah. Well, come visit us. We have a new studio here. We have a couple of studios here in Long Island, so we welcome you anytime. So
I would
my
love
house is
to.
your house.
I would
Okay.
love to.
Thank thank you.
Thank you for having me on, Don. I really appreciate it.
You're welcome. You're welcome. I enjoyed your company. All right. Stay cool.